Hello everyone, my name is Jose Avalos. I'm an associate level designer community at Avalanche Software, and in this tutorial we will talk about the satellite receiver, another one of the new creativity tools we've made for Disney Infinity 2.0. If you remember, one of the main additions we've made to the toy box is the fact that we can link several toy boxes together, so we can either make a sprawling adventure or a hub world in which from that world you can go to other worlds and do separate things. And the question is, can you make your toy boxes communicate between each other? So for example, if I go through this door and I pick up a key, when I go back to the city, something happens? Well, you can. And that's what the satellite receiver is for. Now, using my super awesome paint skills, I'm going to show you how it all works. As you can see here, the satellite receiver consists of 10 stations or messages that can be broadcast into all the different levels in your toy box world that have the satellite receiver on. So you can say, for example, station 1 will generate enemies in one world, while station 2 will display attacks, and so on and so forth. So imagine we have this example, okay? 3 toy boxes that are, right now separated, and that from toy box 1 there are doors to toy box 2 and toy box number 3. If we want all these levels to communicate each other, we need to put a satellite receiver, or in this case the SR icon, one in each level. Then, let's suppose that we go from toy box number 1 to toy box number 2, and we push a button, collect a key, whatever, and we turn on station 1. Here's the thing. Once I go back to toy box 1, the satellite receiver is gonna say, okay, now I turn on station 1, and I will do some stuff. And now, if I go back to toy box number 3, since that third toy box also has a satellite receiver, it will also do something else, because we have station 1 turned on. And what happens if in the third toy box I also turn on station 2? Well, now that both stations are turned on, if I go back to the first toy box, I will do connections for both station number 1 turned on and station number 2 turned on. And the same thing in the second toy box. So, this is exactly what we're going to be doing. Basically, I'm going to have this satellite receiver that you have here, which is represented by this icon like a radar antenna and broadcast, to represent that it broadcasts messages to other toy boxes, and that station number 1 is just going to display a line of text saying station number 1 is active, and if station 2 is active, it will say, hey, station 2 is active. So let's make those connections. The text creator toy that I have here already has those 2 lines of text saying station 1 is active and station 2 is active, and it displays for first, second, and in banner text, so it's going to be really big. So, how do we say something, okay, whenever a station is turned on, do something? For that, I select the satellite receiver with the wand, and I say, okay, new logic connection. Once it's turned on, I'm gonna turn on station 1. I'm gonna display the line of text, station 1 is active, which was the text 1. And connection success, and I will do the same thing for station number 2. So, new logic connection, turn on station 2, and display text 2. So that's it for the connections around here. Now, I need to save the level, because if I don't save it, as far as I know, these connections are not going to be safe. So we need to save the level. Alright, now that I already saved, I will go to, in this case, toy box number 2, which is an interior. So let's go right here. So, do you want to travel to interior? Absolutely yes. So, now that this is our interior, we're sparsely decorated by the way, we have the 3 following toys. We have a button, we have a text creator that, and the same way that it was in the exterior, it says station 1 is active in text 1, and station 2 is active in text 2, lasts for 4 seconds, and in a banner style. And right now we also have our satellite receiver here and a button. So now what we're going to be doing is push this button and turn on station 1. So, and when station 1 is turned on, it's gonna say, okay, station 1 is active. So let's do just that. For that, I'm gonna select the button and new logic connection pressed, and I'm gonna select the satellite receiver. Now, as you can see, we can either turn on one of the 10 stations that we have in here, 1, 2 through 10. We can turn off a certain station, and we can do start test mode. Now, start test mode, basically it performs all the logic connections related to turn on whenever all the stations are turned on. So it will do all the connections related to station 1 if it's active, station 2, and so on until station 10 without them actually being turned on. So if you want to test, okay, will this level do whatever it is I want to do whenever I load it, you can just check with start test mode. But for now, I'm just gonna turn on station 1. Now we can see that we have that connection success, and now we need to make the connections from the satellite receiver to the text creator. So when station 1 is turned on, it will say station 1 is active, and same thing with the station 2 is active to this one. So let's do just that. For now, new logic connection when turned on, in this case station 1, I'm gonna display text 1 from here. Display text 1, and same thing with station 2. Now turn on. When station 2 is turned on, I'm gonna display text 2. And now, before we can test this, I need to make sure that I save this level so all these logic connections are safe. So I'm just gonna save the level. And now that I did just that, I'm gonna go back to my exterior. Start at home! Yeah! What did I get? Okay. Alright, so now I will do the same kind of connections, but with the second exterior. So for my hub world, I'm just gonna go to exterior. Now, as you can see, I'm in a new exterior with a little castle, a little tent, and the same 3 toys that we had in the interior. A button, text creator that also has the same 2 lines, station 1 is active and station 2 is active, and a satellite receiver. So, same way, new logic connection, turn on station 1, it will display this line of text, and same thing for station number 2. So turn on station 2, and display text 2. And now if I push this button, I'm gonna turn on station 2. So we'll do just that. There you go. Now we also need to save these this particular level before we are able to test it. Okay, so I reloaded the map, and now we are ready to test the satellite receiver. So first, I'm gonna go to my interior, and let's go. Alright, now we're in the interior, and we're gonna push the button, and it will say, okay, station 1 is active. So now we know that the satellite receiver in station number 1 is active. So if I go back to my exterior or my hub world, I'm gonna, since we did the same connection in the 3 levels, we should also be saying, okay, station 1 is active. We boot up the level and it says station 1 is active. So this hub world remembers, thanks to the satellite receiver, that connection we did before. So for example, we could have done that if I pick up a key here, we could have had some enemies spawn in or whatever. So I would go now to my second level, to the castle level, and see what happens. Now in my castle level, it still remembers that station 1 is active because of the connection I did on the interior level by pushing the button. And now if I push this button, now it will say station 2 is active. So now what will happen is, once I get back here, back to my hub world, it's gonna remember that both station 1 and station 2 are active, and according to that, it's gonna do something else. In this case, it's gonna display both texts. And now we will say station 1 is active, and now station 2 is active. So basically, it remembers that both of these stations were turned on. And now if I go back to the interior, it will also say the same thing. Now station 1 is active, and station 2 is active. Well, it should be any second now. Station 2 is active. Well, that's the gist on how the satellite receiver works. But now, this is important for you to remember. In fact, I'm just gonna do a big warning screen right now. Okay, still with me? Here goes. Satellite receivers remember the state of the stations that were turned on by the moment you save. Or even if I load this level again, and both of these stations are turned on, when I load up the level again, it will say station 1 is active and station 2 is active. In fact, I'm gonna load the level right now from the pause menu. See, station 1 is active,
Let the adventures and conquest
and station 2 is active. And I did this by going into the pause menu and just selecting load. So as you can see, this can be kind of a big problem if you want to share your levels with other people. So how do we go about this? Well, the main advice I can give you is turn off the stations in the satellite receiver before you save. And if you want to do this for a challenge, turn the stations off and then save and then submit. So this is why I have these two triggers for. So basically the connection I have is that anytime step on it, I'll turn off, in this case, station 1, and this one turns off station 2. So if I step on these, this is all I need to do. The stations are turned off, and now I can safely save my level, and then I can submit it, and people can play it the way it was meant to. So that is the big warning. Before you try the level again to see if the logic works, make sure to turn off the stations on your satellite receivers. That's really the greatest advice I can give you, and well, there are a lot of possibilities you can have with this toy. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or in the forums, and well, thanks for watching.